All right, I will say good morning. So we are picking up Emir Hashem today, Sunday, the 3rd of Kislev, the 27th of November. I will say, rather, there are still additional copies of the Mesillas Yesharim here in the box. Also, even if you have a copy, pick up a copy of the calendar, which are also in the box, so you can see exactly where we're up to each and every day, both in the art scroll as well as in the Hebrew edition. So we'll say, let's go right there. So says the Ramchal. So Amnam kimo b'dabrina b'mitzvos shayatzorach b'hem yoser dahinu masher regilus b'nei adam likashal kach nedaber b'midos b'rashios b'arichos in yoser b'nei regilus b'hem. So we'll say this. We spoke about this in last year. The same way that when it comes to mitzvos, when it comes to actions or averos, there are certain things that we transgress, and certain things we transgress without even realizing that we have transgressed them. And certain things ultimately, again, that are transgressed, there are so many tentacles of transgressions. And we saw that by Averos, so remember again, Ramchal went through this explaining that halacha l'maisa, there are certain Averos which are even more common than others. Let's remember again his categories of Averos. We've got theft, arayas, ma'achalas asuros, lashon hara, chil Hashem. So when it comes to midos, there are certain character traits which we go ahead and transgress more easily as well. And what are they? He says, Vehem hagaiva, hakas, hakina, v'hataiva. There's arrogance, anger, jealousy, and lust or desire. Hein kol midos raos ashera asam nikaris mefusemes. They say, everyone knows how terrible these particular character traits are. Ein sarach larayos. We don't have to bring proofs to why they're terrible or why they're destructive. But hine rose in ba'asman rose, but although saying the character traits themselves are terrible, and ultimately again what they engender is equally as destructive. Ki kulan chutz mishuras hasechal v'achachma. And about here's what's amazing: all of these character traits operate outside of the intellect. In other words, intellectually, I know all of these things are destructive. V'chol achas kedei liatzma lahavi esa adam el averos chamuros. And about say each of these midos by themselves, unfortunately, have the ability and capacity to bring a person to serious transgression. So we'll say, now let's go through each of these. Ala gaiva. So we'll say, let's start with gaiva. Let us start with gaiva. Okay. Fine. Okay. I was going to go. Fine, we'll go back. Ala gaiva. Mikra mali mashiva omer. So we'll say, it's incredible. So we have a passage that says, V'ram levavecha v'shachachtas Hashem elokecha. So we'll say, what does gaiva tell you? Right? A person will become arrogant and haughty. And what happens if a person becomes arrogant? They both say, you forget Hashem. They both say it's very logical. Because when a person is arrogant, what does arrogance create? Egocentricity, self-centeredness. Everything is about me. If everything is about me, there's no room for anyone else, including HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Alakas, what about anger? Person gets angry, it's as if they're worshipping idolatry. We'll say, what's the pshat with that? Because we know when you get angry, what could happen? A person could lose control in such a dramatic fashion that literally, again, they become capable of even worshipping idolatry. Alakina, jealousy, vataiva, and desire. Shaninu behedja. Hakina, vataiva, vakavad, motzina sa'adam in ha'olam. We will say jealousy, lust, and desire, quest for constant honor, literally remove a person from this world. Amnam. So we're saying, I understand why all these things are destructive. What I need to understand is the need of how to distance myself from these things. What I also need to figure out are like, what are the tentacles, right? What are the things, what are the character traits or behaviors that could lead me to these more destructive form of midos? Kikulam ke'echad surei hagef nachriya. Because when I say all of them, it's such a poetic lashon. All of them are like branches of the same alien vine, right? There's this alien negative vine, and the vine has multiple offshoots. V'naschil adaber bam rishon rishon. Says Rabbi saying, we're going to go through each of these midos, each of these destructive character traits, one by one, in an effort to understand them, and an effort to appreciate all of their tentacles, and then ultimately come to avoid them. So here we go. Hine inyan klal inyan hagaiva uzeh. So we'll say, start with gaiva, arrogance. We'll say this is so profound. Sha'adam machshiv atzmo be'atzmo. So we'll say, this is actually a very profound statement. Literally, Ha'adam machshiv atzmo bi'atzmo. A person is machshiv himself in himself. I will say, I'm going to read to you we don't have this edition. So in the edition that I used in the previous cycles of Mesillas Yesharim, there's a footnote here. I want to read to you the footnote. Machshiv atzmo bi'atzmo miyachis chashivos li'atzmo mitzad atzmo. I feel that I'm important. Why? Because of me. I will say, what does that mean? Not because of an accomplishment, not because of any struggle I've overcome, not because of anything I've done. I just feel that I am inherently important. I will say, now we're going to see, by the way, you say to yourself, well, isn't that a good thing to think that you're important? Yes. We're going to see gaiva, I will say, like every other negative midah, every negative trait, I will say, has a positive quality. We saw this in Sidkas HaTzadik. Right? Remember again, Reb Tzaddik said, there's no such thing as a bad koach. There's no such thing as even a bad midah. It's just sometimes koach is misused in the wrong way. So the same koach could propel me in two different directions. The koach itself is good. It's just how you use it. So it's like gaiva means I feel that I'm important. Why are you important? Because I am. Machshiv atzmo bi'atzmo. O bilvavo yidame kilo na'avasila. In my heart I say, I deserve praise. Va'amnam say yachal imashach misvaras rabbos mischalfos. So I will say, a person could come to be a bal gaiva from a variety of different reasons. I will say, some people become bal gaiva arrogant because they think they're very intellectual. I will say, some people think they're very smart. I will say, by the way, you know this, right? There's some people who literally hold that they're they're so intellectually astute. And also, you see this sometimes. You could tell a lot about a person when they don't understand something in Torah, right? So how do you phrase it when you don't understand something in Torah? Person says, "This makes no sense." Really? When you say this makes no sense, what you're saying is, I know all, right? So this is wrong. Person could say, this makes no sense to me. This person could say, I don't understand. When a person says, this makes no sense, that's gaiva. You understand everything in the world. You understand the Kadosh Baruch Hu, you understand Torah. Again, so often we don't even realize it, that we emote this sense of gaiva just in how we talk. So a person thinks he's a Baal Seichel. I know everything. Doesn't make sense, it must be wrong. Or, Yesh Mishiach Shivas Mona. Someone thinks they're very handsome, they're very beautiful. That can lead to gaiva. Yesh Mishiach Shivas Nichbad. Someone thinks they're deserving of kavod. V'yesh Shiach Shiv Atzmo Gadol. Someone thinks they're great. Yesh Shiach Shiv Atzmo Chacham. Some think they're very wise. Klalo Shal Davar. Kol Echam In Adar Matarim Sheba Olam. Im Yachshav Ha'adam Sheyeshna Bo. Harim V'sukim Miyad Lipo B'Shachas Zeh Shal Gaiba. Shabbos say the klal is, there are many wonderful things in the world. If a person thinks that he is in possession, absolute possession of any one of these things, that could lead a person to gaiva. Now, I will say, I want to be clear. Sometimes we think that, what's the opposite of gaiva? Anava. And sometimes we often have a skewed view of anava, that to be humble means to think I'm a nothing. I will say, to think you're a nothing means having low self-worth. That's unhealthy. It could be a sign of depression amongst a variety of different things. Right? So we'll say the opposite of gaiva is not thinking you're a nothing. The opposite of gaiva is thinking you're a something, but a healthy something. So we'll talk about this. So the idea is, any one of these things, if I get too carried away with, I'm too smart, I'm very smart, I'm very good looking, I'm very this, I'm very that, anything you think you're very of could ultimately lead to gaiva. Here's the scary thing. The moment that a person falls into the clutches of gaiva, right? So now what happens? I think I'm very important. I think I'm very deserving. So we'll say, once a person becomes about gaiva, it's not just the pshat that I walk around with an inflated ego. I will say, but what happened? The averos that could stem from gaiva are so profound. Why I will say? Because let's play this out. If I think, right, if I'm about gaiva, and therefore I think I'm the smartest, the best looking, the most wonderful, what does that create? A sense of entitlement. And the moment a person walks around life with a sense of entitlement, then what happens? everything belongs to them. And the moment you think that everything belongs to you, that becomes a gateway for the commission of the worst kinds of averos. The worst averos are committed ultimately again through a sense of entitlement. Through a sense of entitlement. I will say, rather, you see this even societally unfolding over here. But again, we'll leave that on the side. V'afilu hafachios nimsabahen v'nodos misiba achos u'shtein l'davar echem eskavno. So we'll say again, as Ramchal often says, the power of negative traits is not just in the trait itself, but is ultimately again in what the trait engenders and the pathways, the multiple pathways that the negative trait paves. So we'll stop over here for today. Again, we'll continue Mesillas Yesharim to go through Ramchal Mesillas Yesharim tomorrow. What a way to start the week. A lot of Gemara, little Ramchal, Shkaya Chaber, Shkaya.